Hello, my name is Jennifer Bourbonnais with Partners in Care Management. Today, I would like to help you better understand portion sizes. The style of eating that I mainly teach is the Harvard School of Public Health way of eating. And we're going to be discussing the portion sizes mainly found in our carbohydrate sources. And number one source would be our milk and our yogurt categories. This is not going to be including cheese. This is just the milk and the yogurt portions, as well as our whole and our sprouted grains, our brown rice, whole wheat pastas, oats, etc., as well as our beans and legumes section. Fruits are also a high carbohydrate containing food, so we'll be discussing portion sizes for those. And the one category that we'll not be discussing today is the sugary drinks, sweet salts, potatoes, refined breads, and pastas. I will touch on them briefly, but these are going to be the ones that really should be used sparingly and not part of an everyday diet. One way an individual may estimate portion sizes is by using the plate method. On this particular plate, we see half of it is filled with non-starchy vegetables. We see a small amount of a whole grain rice or pilaf, and we then see some protein, a small amount of fruit on the side. Another way we're going to want to estimate portion sizes is by using the 15 grams of carbohydrate method. And like I said, we're not going to be talking too much about sweets and added sugar items, but the main categories that our everyday diet is getting carbohydrate from mainly is from our milk and our yogurt, our starches and our grains, as well as our fruit. And one portion is going to be equal to 15 grams of carbohydrate. This can be adjusted as we need to. But that 15 is going to be important because portion sizes vary tremendously from item to item. So you may go to a grocery store and buy a sleeve of bagels, and it says on there the portion size is one bagel at 30 grams of carbohydrate, but it's also cut in half, so we can estimate then that each half of the bagel is 15 grams of carbohydrate. This is nice, but when we go to a bagel shop, we might find that there's no portion size or food label, and we get that bagel not to know that it might have 60 to 75 grams of carbohydrate for one bagel. So as I was saying before, we're going to be talking about that milk substitute / yogurt category, our grains and our starches. This is including legumes as well as sprouted grains, and then our fruit section. In the milk and milk substitute category, it's approximately 1 cup of cow milk, skimmed to 1%, plain soy milk, and this is the one without the sugar added, rice milk, almond milk, coconut milk. 1 cup, we're going to be looking for about 15 grams of carbohydrate. Now, some might be 12 grams of carbohydrate. You can still count that as about 15. And then when we look at our yogurt or our kefir, we're going to also want to keep our portions close to 15. Now, 1 cup of milk is going to come out to be 12 grams of carbohydrate, just as 1 cup of plain yogurt is going to come out to 12 grams of carbohydrate. And again, thinking at 15 is our max for one portion size. Really have to look at the labels on these things because so much added sugar is put into these items, sometimes blowing up the carbohydrate section, mainly coming from sugar, up to 45 grams of carbohydrate. The next category is our grains and our starches. And the first category would be our whole or sprouted grains. And it's typically 1 slice that is equivalent to 15 grams of carbohydrate. However, you might pick up a loaf of bread and notice that the portion size is 1 slice, but 1 slice is 22 grams of carbohydrate. Now, these are usually larger slices of breads, the ones that when you put into the toaster, it's flopping over the side. But we have to understand that when we make a sandwich with this, we have 22 grams of carb on one half and 22 grams on the other half. It's almost 45 grams of carbohydrate, giving us 3 portions of starch. Now, if we go with a lighter varieties of breads, there might only be about 7 grams of carbohydrate per slice, which is nice because then we have 7 for one half of the bread and 7 for the other, equating to 14, really close to 15 is one portion. So a typical slice of bread is going to fit into your toaster really nice. But then also want to just double check with that portion size on the label to verify. It's also a 15 grams of carbohydrate, comes out to be about 1 whole wheat English muffin or a whole wheat hamburger bun, just a half of one. A third cup of whole grain pasta, whole grain rice, quinoa, barley, oats. It's about a third of a cup to give you 15, and this is a cooked portion. Then when we get into our legumes, it's about a third cup as well. So a third cup of lentils, black, northern, garbanzo, kidney beans, all of them. And these are great because not only do they give us the starch, it's a healthy carbohydrate, it's loaded with fiber, and it also has a great protein source. So it's kind of like killing two birds with one stone when we have a small bowl of a lentil soup, say. Also, the vegetables that are in this grain or starch category include corn, peas, and potatoes. So about a half a cup of corn, or half a cup of peas, or half a cup of potatoes, preferably sweet potatoes, and that is going to give us about 15 grams of carbohydrate. And this is about the amount that is going to take up about a quarter of that plate in front of you. The next category is the fruit category. And when we're thinking about 15 as our portion size, it equates to about a medium-sized piece of fresh fruit, like an apple or a pear or an orange. Now, some of these apples can be very large. And I'm not going to tell you you have to throw away half of your apple because you're going over. Seriously, fresh fruit is never the culprit of a health problem. Especially, if we're trying to lose weight, it's not going to be the apple that's the red flag, okay? It's about 1 cup of fresh melon, berries, fresh fruit salad, that type of thing. Now, some fruits do have a lot more sugar than others, so that's why we're specifying about 15 grapes. Now, some grapes are ginormous. You might even count those about 11 for 15 grams of carbohydrate. But a typical size grape, they're much smaller than those hybrids. And then 12 cherries, about half of a large banana. I personally try to find the smaller bananas so that I don't have to put half of it on the counter. But bananas are really high in sugar. And if you can eat them when they're a little bit green, it's much better because you're not getting as much sugar. So the starch in the banana didn't convert to sugar yet. So getting them with a little bit of green, having them at that point before they're brown is the best time. Also, dried fruit like raisins, cherries, cranberries, those things that you might toss into the salad, only 2 tablespoons is about 15 grams of carbohydrate. And then we also have to be very careful of fruit juice. Some people fill up the juice glass 12, 16 ounces full of fruit juice, not realizing you're getting 3 and 4 portions of carbohydrate, just tons of sugar all at once. I will not forget the time that I was at a restaurant with my kids and we ordered orange juice, and they brought it out literally in a 20-ounce styrofoam cup with a straw. I said, this is ridiculous. This is not a portion size. So, whatever happened to those small little juice glasses? I think, we all kind of changed and we said, more is better, more for your money, supersize it, this type of thing kind of brainwashed us. So we do need to kind of pedal backwards now and put things in a better perspective. Well, thank you very much for joining me today. It was my pleasure to talk to you about portion sizes. And again, my name is Jennifer Bourbonnais, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.